You have $50,000 sitting in a savings account. Every month, interest drops in, no extra work, no risk, no stress. The number grows while you sleep. You did everything the responsible adults told you to do, and for a while, it genuinely feels like you cracked the code. Then one afternoon, you sit down and do the real math. Not the surface math the bank shows you, the real math. And the thing that felt like smart, disciplined money management starts to feel like something else entirely. Here is what a year and a half with $50,000 in a high-yield savings account actually taught me. Back in late 2023, the Federal Reserve had been hiking interest rates aggressively. High-yield savings accounts were offering something almost unbelievable: 4.5%, even 5% APY. Guaranteed, federally insured, zero market risk. Compare that to a traditional bank paying 0.01%. That's $1 of interest on every $10,000. At 5%, that same $10,000 earns $500. Same money, same time frame, same risk level. $1 versus $500. Millions of people moved their cash to online banks: Ally, SoFi, Marcus, Wealthfront. And for a while, it felt like a quiet revolution, like saving money was finally worth doing again. Here is what the headlines don't tell you. That $50,000 at 5% earns $2,500 a year in gross interest. Your brain says, done, easy money. But the IRS doesn't care that your money sat in a savings account. Interest income is taxed as ordinary income, the same rate as your salary. If you're in the 22% federal bracket, plus state taxes, you're losing roughly 25 cents on every dollar of interest earned. Run the actual numbers. $2,500 gross becomes closer to $1,875 in your pocket. Not $2,500, not $2,000, $1,875. And stacked on top of that, inflation. In 2023 and 2024, inflation ran between 3 and 4%. Your balance is growing. But so is the price of everything you'd spend it on. When researchers calculate the real after-tax, inflation-adjusted return on a high-yield savings account during that period, it lands somewhere between 1.5 and 1.8%. That's still positive, still better than nothing. But it is not the 5% story most people are telling themselves at the kitchen table. While that $50,000 was earning a real return of roughly 1.5%, the stock market was doing something entirely different. In 2023 alone, the S&P 500 returned over 26%. If that same $50,000 had been in a broad index fund for that single year, it would have grown to roughly $63,000, not $52,500, a $10,500 difference. One calendar year. Two decisions that both felt responsible. The long-term picture is harder to sit with. $20,000 in a high-yield savings account at 4% for 30 years grows to about $64,800. The same $20,000 invested at the market's historical 10% average grows to approximately $348,000. Same money, same 30 years. A gap of nearly $284,000, built entirely on the difference between parking your money in a place that felt safe and putting it to work in a place that felt uncertain. Before you move everything into index funds, stop, because that is not the lesson. The high-yield savings account was never the wrong tool. I had it in the wrong role. A savings account is designed for one job: protecting money you might need soon. Your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of real living expenses. A purchase you're making within the next 1 to 2 years. Money that cannot afford to drop 30% the week before you need it. For that job? Nothing does it better. The problem is scope creep. The problem is when a tool built for short-term protection quietly takes on a much bigger job, holding money that realistically won't be touched for 5, 10, 20 years. Money with a long-time horizon sitting in an account designed for a short one. Nobody chooses to leave $284,000 on the table, but millions of people do it anyway. One comfortable savings account balance at a time. Here is what I want you to walk away with. Calculate your real after-tax return, not the number on the homepage. Know the actual size your emergency fund needs to be, and stop there. And understand that the rate you fell in love with in 2023, by early 2026, it had already dropped back toward 4%. That window partially closed. Security and trajectory are not the same thing. One tells you where you stand today. The other determines where you end up. A large number in a savings account produces comfort, but comfort is not worth $284,000. If this hit different, subscribe. Smart money. Real freedom. See you in the next one.